Hey up, it's Steve from the old Yorkshire Geek here, and I hope this thing's working because you're ready for this. I've got a toy, I don't know, it's rubbish. But anyway, right, so as you can see, it's Orville Day. So we're on Season 3, Episode 8, Midnight Blue, which I don't know if that has any meaning other than in the episode it kind of describes a firefly. I don't know, but whatever. It's an episode that it's weird. It's a bit of a roller coaster of emotion. I ended up thinking it was really good and very powerful and a good episode, and an important episode in the series. But there's one scene in it that just made me groan, and we'll get to it. It's probably the worst scene I've ever seen in the Orville, and it's bloody awful. But right, we'll get on with it. So, where's me doofer? There we go. So as you can see, there's the Orville flying through space, being all spacey flyy. And here's Commander Grayson, Kelly Grayson. She's having a drink in the, I suppose it's like 10 forward, isn't it? The 10 forward of the Orville, and Commander Bortas comes with her because I don't know, they're starting to have some sort of relationship. I don't know. Later on, you think like they're going to kiss, but it comes to nothing. But anyway, he's there. He arrives. He says he apologises for being late, and he's having problems with Tauper. If you remember a few episodes ago, Tauper was born female. Remember the Mocklands, which is what Bortas is. Are an all-male society, and any females that are born are usually the sex is changed, when the babies to become male. So they're an all-male society. Tauper was born female, and Bortus originally wanted her to remain female, but Mockland law said that they had to turn her into a male. So they underwent a surgical procedure and she would turn male. And then a few episodes ago, she decided, or they decided that they wanted to be female again. Now they were born, so they underwent that procedure. And Clyden and Bortus and Tauper had a big falling out, and Clyden left. And apparently, he left the ship. I didn't actually know where he went. He didn't explain it. A lot of things they don't explain in the Orville this season. But apparently he left the ship, so he's not on the ship anymore. So Bortus is left to bring up Tauper by himself. By the way, Tauper looks to be like a teenager in this, so Mocklands must grow up really fast. Because we're only on season 3, and she was born in season 1. I know there's been a little bit of a time jump, not a huge one, but she's maximum 3 years old, I imagine, at this point. So they must mature quickly, must Mocklands. Right, so he explains he's having problems with Tauper. She's being a teenage girl. Apparently she's interested in a boy, and she won't talk to Bortus about it. She locks herself in a room. So Kelly says, anything she can do. So Bortus says, "Thank you. You will speak to her," and starts walking off. And she says, "Yeah, all right then. I'll see what I can do." So. Next thing we see Tauper in the quarters doing some work. There we go. And Kelly arrives, and she says she's gonna do some battle drills or simulations or something. So Tauper's happy to she's happy for Tauper to come along and take part in that. And then she says if there's any problems, Tauper can come to Kelly because she's a friend, and it feels like family and all that. Which is a theme that's mentioned more than once in this episode about Kelly being a member of the family. So Tauper says she's interested in a boy, and she says she doesn't know what to do basically. So Kelly says just be yourself, ask him out basically, and if if he's not interested, he'll say no. So that's basically what she says. So, right. And I think she's interested in Commander Lamar because she says, oh, he's funny and all that, and he's, you know, all this stuff. And I was thinking it's going to be Commander Lamar because he's just broken up with Tala, hasn't he? But it's not Commander Lamar. So they're still having a little chat. Let's just get on with it. There we go. And it turns out it's Gordon she's interested in. She asks him out for a date. Let's see. You know, she's quite forward, but you know, kind of sweet. You know, innocent. She asks him out on a date, and Gordon's no idea what's going on. He's saying to her, "Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, we can go for dinner because we're friends. You like my little sister." And she says, "All right." And everybody else knows what's going on. And then Gordon finally, I've gone too far. Finally realizes, and you know, basically, you know, lets her down gently, and she seems okay with it. And it's never really mentioned again, to be honest, in the episode. So there you go. So she doesn't seem enormously bothered by it. So a bit of a pointless exercise. Apart from later on in the episode when Gordon, you know, volunteers to do something, you know, to help Topper, saying he, you know, he feels, you know, a connection with her. So maybe it will lead to something. I don't know. I doubt it. She's only 3, for God's sake. Gordon's a lot older. Anyway, right, so the Admiral's on the phone and they're going to a mission to, I can't remember the name. The colony of female Mocklans, anyway. The season 1, it was set up. I think it was season 1. In another season, it was set up, this colony of female Mocklans, and the Union and the Mocklans they have to go check on it, you know, from time to time, to make sure they're not breaking their agreement, because they're supposed to, you know, not smuggle out female Mocklans from Mocklus to this colony. So they're going to check on that. So Commander Grayson and Bortus get the job of going on a shuttle because it's in a nebula, and you know the Mocklans are just going to send one shuttle with 3 people on, and no weapons, and apart from sidearms, and that's it. So they're not taking the Orville; they're just going in a shuttle. So that's what they decide to do. So this is where they're making the arrangements. Bortus wants to take loads of, you know, rifles, and Kelly says no, sidearms only. But Bortus disobeys and takes them in secret. Thankfully, anyway, Topper comes in, and she says she wants to go. She's heard that they're going to this planet, where this female Mockland who spoke at Topper's trial in season 1 at the hearing, where it was decided that she was going to remain, where she wouldn't be changed to a male. This female Mockland spoke, and she's the head of this colony, and I can't remember, and it's like Havina or something like that. Don't ask me. I should make notes. I know I don't. I'm rubbish. So where were we? So she asks if she can go, and Bortus is unsure, and Kelly says, yeah, well, she'll be all right. We'll look after her. And he says, okay, if the captain says it's okay, you can come. So she says, yeah, I love you, Dad. So off they go, and then we get the credits. There we go, midnight. Oh, you can't see it. I see the planets in the nebula, and it's all swirly and weird. So they go down, and as she stood there, they very rarely sit down in these shuttles. Although they do later on, because the normal thrusters break in the shuttle, and they've got to, well, not break, they are broken, and they've got to take off with the main thrusters, so everybody sits down then. But for some reason, everybody just stands behind the pilots. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what button to press, so we do a little laugh. I'll be using one of these buttons later on, by the way, on the scene, you know, that I said were cringe and horrible. I'll be using one of them. Anyway, right, so the land and the Mocklands are there, and they've already done their inspection, so they say, you know, they're on their way, and that's, you know, they think that's the last we'll see of them. They're not very nice, they're very rude. They see Topper and they're not exactly pleased to see Topper. But they've just seen a whole village full of female Mocklans, so why would one more make any difference? I don't know. Here we go. So they're out at the village and you see they're all female Mocklans. Or they seem to be. Dee-dee-dee. So they go to this house and they hear the music of Dolly Parton playing, singing 9 to 5. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake. It gets me a bit annoyed in these. This is set in the 25th century and they play Dolly Parton and they do it a lot. They sing like, contemporary to us music. And they do it a lot in Star Trek, particularly Star Trek Discovery. They do it a lot in that. They're singing songs from like, for them it'd be, well, for Discovery it'd be like 1,000 years now, so they've gone a long way in the future, haven't they? But at least 400 or 500 years, in the past. It's like me, I know we do, don't we? But like me singing a song from, 1600, hey, nonny, nonny. But whatever, I mean, 9 to 5, I suppose it's a good song and it might last for 400 years. So, anyway, she says Dolly Parton inspires her. I'm trying to see, it was written by Brannon Braga and Andre Bormanis, two Star Trek alums. I'm trying to see who directed it, because I forgot to check, and I didn't notice when I watched it earlier on, and I bet I've missed it. But it doesn't really matter. It's not super important. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. I should have looked it up, shouldn't I? If I were interested, if I really that bothered, I'd have looked it up, wouldn't I? And I can't see who directed it. There we go, John Cassar. There we go, directed by John Cassar. Who's one of the producers as well. So Kelly and Bortus go on their, inspection, and they leave Topper there. She says, "Can I stay here with, is it Kavina or Havina, whatever her name is?" And she's got a little shrine to Dolly Parton. Look, there we go. It's bizarre and creepy, and not creepy, but cringy, because I saw this and I thought, we're going to see her, aren't we? We're going to see Dolly Parton in this episode. But we'll get to that. So they have a little chat anyway. They're having dinner and they're on she mentions the Luminites. They're going to have dinner and they're going to watch the Luminites, which are like these fireflies in the forest. So they're having dinner and having a nice time. And Topper says she wants to go watch the Luminites. There we go. Oh, pardon me. And she sees them dancing about. And then Havina, I'm going to have to look this up. I can't remember the name. Let's have a look. Orville. Midnight Blue. Castle. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you heard that. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yes, I'm right. Havina, played by Rena Owen. I don't know if that's pronounced properly. By the way, can't see it's gone. We get Bruce Boxleitner in this episode as President Alcazan, President of the Union. You can't recognise him, he's under heavy makeup, he's an alien. Anyway, yeah, so Topper's played by Imani Pullum. That's just a bit of info. Where were we? She's watching these what they're called, luminy things, luminites, fireflies. They're all different colours, all very pretty. And Havina comes over and they start talking, and she says every now and again you'll see a blue one, which is very rare. And so she's watching, and anyway, they have a talk, and she gives Topper a necklace made out of this what do they call it? Like a rock that's from lava, like a basalty sort of rock, She made a necklace out of it, and it's, kind of nice, I suppose. But she gives her that, and then she asks her if she's going to help her, because they've decided they're going to start, or they're not going to start, they have started smuggling female Mocklans from Mocklus to the colony. with like an underground railroad, and she asks Topper if she can help because she lives on a Union starship and they use their communications array, and it'll help speed up, getting smuggling Mocklans from Mocklus to the colony. And she says yes, she'll help. And you think, all right, fair enough. So that happens. Then she carries on watching the Luminites, as we'll see. She sees a blue one. There we go. She sees a blue. You can see that. She sees a blue one there, and it leads her off into the forest for some reason. Don't know why. Maybe it's a baddie because something happens. Maybe the blue one's a baddies. I don't know. But it gave me Star Chaser: The Legend of Orin vibes. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's an animated feature from the 1980s. I think 1986. I think it came out around about that time, and it's an amazing film. I love it. It's a bit of a Star Wars rip-off, but it's a cartoon and it's really good. And that had these like fight. Is it Starflies or something like that? That were a bit like that. But anyway, so she follows this Luminite into the woods, and she catches it in her hand for some reason, and then it flies off, and then she gets kidnapped by a Mocklan, one of them that were there before. They take her away, take her to the shuttle, and fly off with her. And then the others wonder what's happened to her. They don't know, so they go looking. They can't find her, so they come to the conclusion that the Mocklans have taken her for some reason. So the Mocklans have sabotaged the shuttle. The thrusters aren't working, so they've got to take off with the main engines. So they go bombing through the atmosphere. They've got to make repairs on the way. So they're taking her somewhere. We don't know where they're taking her. They're being horrible to her, and they're even more horrible to her later on. Meanwhile, Captain, what's his face? Ed, Captain, what's his last name now? Oh, I've seen. How many times have I seen this? I've seen it a billion times. My brain. Ed Mercer, that's it. Captain Mercer. Obviously, realise there's something's wrong because they've not heard from Kelly and Bortus. So they go to the planet that they're not supposed to, but they go. And they bring. Obviously, they went down in a shuttle and brought her back up. I think they forgot that they don't have transporters, so they went to all the trouble of going down in a shuttle and bringing a Havina up to the Orville instead of just talking to her down there. But whatever. I think Brandon probably forgot that they don't have transporters. Anyway, and she initially she says she doesn't know what's going on, and she doesn't really know, but she's not telling them that she's asked Topper for help in this underground railroad of Mocklan females. But eventually she does. She owns up, and Ed's not happy. He says, she's a child. What are you doing that for? And she says, well, whatever. So they get in touch. They get called back to Earth. There's going to be a hearing at the Union headquarters, a bit like the United Federation of Planets, council, I suppose. Be a big meeting of all the Union representatives, including Mocklus, about what's going on. Meanwhile, here we go. Oh God, see, I've gone too far. Ed has a big row with Havina, and she's not going to talk. So, and then Tala comes and says, Ed's got somebody he wants you to meet, and takes her to the simulator. And says, what's she doing here? Then in walks Dolly Bleeding Parton. Oh, for God's sake. And I was expecting there to be this. that. Yeah, I'm expecting that to happen. I expected to be cheering and woo, it's Dolly Parton in a guest appearance, and I know she's knocking on a bit. She's had some work done, but bloody hell, she's kind of scary looking. But she's an amazing woman, she's an inspiration, and she's not the best actress in the world, and it's a typical, musician cameo. She even gets a guitar out, starts singing, starts singing, and then with just singing with just a guitar, and then of course the rest of the band joins in, and this is enough to make Havina change her mind, and she tells Ed all about what's going on with the Underground Railroad. So anyway, so they head off back to Earth. They take the Mocklans have taken Topper to this planet where they're supposedly uninhabited, but there's a Mocklan base there, and they put her in this cell, and there's a baddie. There we go. There's this fella here, this Mocklan. You can tell he's a baddie because he's only got one eye, and he smiles a lot, so you can tell he's a baddie. He starts off giving her a drink, and then he ends up beating her up, basically, which we might see in a moment. Well, he's already hit her, there you go. He's giving her a clout. So he's basically beating up a child. Remember, she's only about 3. I know she looks like a teenager. I think she's supposedly equivalent to about a 15-year-old human, I think, something like that, isn't she? 14 or 15, I think, round about that age. Anyway, Kelly, they've followed the ion trail of the Mocklan shuttle, and they arrive at this planet, and the cloak the shuttle, that rubbish cloak, and the land like miles away from this facility. I don't know why, and so they walk for all this time to get to the base. Meanwhile, we have this. I thought it was quite ugly actually, but there we go. I'll show it. Right, there we go. There we go. That was horrible. Does that? That window, that bridge window, is awful. I mean, it's not attractive, is it? It's not attractive. I don't think it is anyway. So they've arrived back at Earth, and Kelly and Bart. There we go. The lovely Earth. And the Mocklans are being all belligerent, saying, we are the best. You've no right to tell us how to live. Blah blah blah. You need our weapons. In the fight against the Kalon. That's what they're saying. Yeah, that's what they're doing there. By the way, that was the president from the back before. They get to a ravine. I don't know if this is what we're seeing there. Yeah, they've got to jump across it. These two, Kelly and Bartus. Bartus, he jumps across easily. Kelly doesn't, because she doesn't take much of a run up, and she falls, and she tears a ligament in her arm. So Bartus puts this on, and it heals it in about 2 minutes. So why did they even bother? Because it did delay her for long. And this is where I thought they were going to kiss, because Bartus says, she's like family and stuff, and there you go. And it's like, you think they're going to kiss, but they don't. So, because they get interrupted by the machine, there we go, the machine beeping. And anyway, they carry on their way. They get to the, what's her Topper. She's been beating her up. So let's have a look at her from a close up. There we go. Look, been beating her up. She's in a bad way. As I said, it's quite powerful. Remember, it's basically child abuse, isn't it? This. So anyway, it's got this thing here. It says it's a krill pain giver. It's like a Klingon death stick, isn't it? He's going to use that on her. And he does. I think he does use it on her because he's asking her for information. He's wanting the name of the Havina's contact on Mocklus, and also the what is it? Frequency codes or whatever that they're going to use, to contact. That they use to, for messages and that. Anyway, they arrive at the base and they go down, and there we go. She distracts this fella, and Bartus knocks him out. and they come across some others, and there's all pew 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 and gunfire, but in a space kind of way. I don't know if there is a zap. I don't think there is. Anyway, never mind. There we go. That's Topa looking worse for wear, and she's given up the information. This fella comes in, says, "We've got the information." He says, "Kill her." So they're going to kill her. They've got the information. They're going to kill her. But Bortus and Kelly arrive in the nick of time to save her. And Bortus says, "Did you do this to my daughter?" And you think he's going to kill him, actually. Bortus launches his scent at this fellow with one eye and beating him up. And Kelly's saying, "Stand down, Commander, that's an order." But he gets the death stick and he shoves it in his good eye. I'll try and see if I can see. I bet I missed it. Yes, he's done it there. Shoved the death stick in his good eye. It looks all nasty. So he's blind now. Yay. Anyway, they get out. They get to the shuttle and they get chased by Moclan fighters. And this is all very exciting. It's a bit like Independence Day. They're flying through canyons and stuff. There we go. Pew 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 pew. It's all very exciting. She's like, "Oh crikey!" But they make short work of them. Even though their shuttle's broken, they can still, outmaneuver Moclan fighters. Those Moclans are supposed to be the best weapons people in the Union at least. But never mind. Anyway, right. So they're in a meeting here within the Union and the Moclans. It's not in the main, Union Council chamber. They're in like a separate room now, and there's Gordon sitting at the back. He asked if he could, go along with them because he felt, some responsibility for Topa. I don't know why. So there, Gordon, he can't. They've been all horrible of the Moclans and belligerent. And Gordon's had enough. Look, he says, "I've had enough of you. You're all full of." He says it's all rubbish. He might say bullshit, which is something to say a lot in the Orville. They're only a few steps away from dropping an F-bomb. That's what I say. Anyway, the Moclans storm out, and they go back to the council chamber, and they say, got to arrest Havina and, give control of that colony back to Moclus and all that, blah, blah, blah. Or, otherwise, what's it gone too far? Otherwise, the Union will fall to the Kalon and all that if they don't have Moclan weapons. And then in walks Bortus and Kelly and Topa, and they say she's refused medical treatment so she could show the Union Council what they've done to her. And basically the Moclans, stand down, and Bortus gives an impassioned speech about what they've done to his daughter, and the Union basically, they all stand up in support of Topa, and basically, well, not basically, it is what happens. The Moclans are thrown out of the Union, all because of one girl, basically. So there you go. So they're thrown out of the Union. So basically, Moclus now is probably an enemy of the Union now. I don't know where they're going to get the weapons from. I suppose they'll have to find somewhere else. And will the Kalon know about this? I suppose they will, and they might see it as an incentive to attack Earth. Maybe we'll see that in the future. But that's that. Bortas and by the way, the Union has granted Havina's colony the sovereign status, and it's under Union protection. So if the Moclans, attack it, they'll be attacking, a Union world. So hopefully they won't do that. What else? No, that's been telling her that. See, so she's happy. What's this? Oh yeah, Claire's been treating Topper's injuries. He says, yeah, she's fine, she'll be fine, but she wants to keep her a little bit longer for some more tests. And Bartus, says, oh, okay, fair enough. And then Tala comes in and says, there's somebody want to see you, and it's Clyden. Clyden's come back. There we go. And he's a changed man. And this does get quite emotional. He goes to see Topper, and he says, he's sorry for what he said, and he feels, shame, and he's proud of her. And I'm kind of filling up now. Hey, and so he's going to stay. He stays back on. He's back now with Bartus. We see him later. Bartus looks a bit unsure there, but we see him in a bit, and they're having dinner. They're back in Bartus's quarters. Here we go. There we go. They're in Bartus, and Clyden's made some Mocklin soup or something. Some spicy soup. And Topper seems happy that they're all together again. As I said, Bartus looks a bit unsure to me. I don't know what's going to happen there, but then Kelly comes and she tells him something. I can't remember what. And they tell Kelly that Clyden and Bartus, and I presume Topper, have renounced their Mocklin citizenship. So the Orville is their home now, and Kelly says fair enough, and she's about to leave, and Clyden calls her back and says, would you like to join us for dinner? So remember, a few episodes ago, he was horrible to her and basically threw her out of their quarters, and now he's making an effort. But I suspect that Bartus and Kelly are going to have a relationship, and that's going to throw another wedge between Clyden and Bartus. That's what I suspect. There we see, she's looking at Clyden there, so she has some soup, and that's how the episode ends. So there you go. So quite an important episode, that, in the grand scheme of the Orville things. And it was a good episode. It was a very powerful episode. Child abuse, child torture, and all that. And Mocklus is now not part of the Union, so that'll obviously have huge ramifications going forward in the series. Are Kelly and Bartus going to get together? Is Clyden back, for good? Or he says he's ashamed of his prejudices, will they resurface? I don't know. He seems like a changed man, but, we'll see. And that's about it, really. And we had Dolly Parton. Hooray for Dolly Parton. Is it Seth MacFarlane? Seth MacFarlane likes his music, and he's a good singer and stuff. And is he just cramming something musical into as many episodes as he can this season? Because we've had Bartus singing, we've had Gordon singing, we've had bloody Dolly Parton on. It's only a matter of time before we have Seth MacFarlane singing, isn't it? I bet they save that for the final episode. He'll be doing one of his, it's a bit like, like a Vegas singer, isn't it? a crooner. He's a crooner, isn't he, Seth MacFarlane? Anyway, so there we go. So it was a very good episode. By the way, it was a really long episode. It was an hour and 26 minutes. Which, really, it's a film, innit? It's a feature length. If it were on normal telly, it'd have been a two-part of that, wouldn't it? Midnight Blue would have been Midnight Blue Part 1 and Part 2. But, no, they showed it all in one go. So, basically, an Orville the movie. And it was very good. I'd give that one an 8 out of 10. Even with the Dolly Parton, which I hated, and it almost put me off the entire episode, but thankfully the episode, it recovered from that. Nothing against Dolly Parton, it was just out of place. It was out of place in the episode. But yeah, so 8 out of 10. So that was episode 8. So I think we've only 2 more episodes to go. That's if I'm right, and there's 10 episodes. I could be wrong. I keep meaning to check and I keep forgetting. So we have a look. So I'm looking at it. See if it says how many episodes. Orville season 3. It'll probably say in Wikipedia or something, won't it? Next week's episode, by the way, is called Domino, and I don't know what that's about. Season 3 episodes. Yes, there's just 10 episodes. Next week's is called Domino, and the week after, the final episode, is called Future Unknown. So that must be another time travel one, maybe. What's this say about Domino? You can click on it. No, I don't know. I don't have any information for it. Don't have any information. Never mind. So there we go. So that's it. 2 more episodes left. We've got to have a big, massive battle with the Kaelin at some point, haven't we? You know, Earth's at stake and all that. It's got to happen. So we'll leave it there. Another good episode. One of the better ones of the season. Yeah, one of the better ones. I think I've had some better. I think I've done a 9 out of 10 for one of them, or 2 of them, haven't I? But this one I give 8 out of 10. So we'll leave it there. So wherever you are in the galaxy, look after each other. Until next time, I'll say thee.